Hey guys, we are back for another episode of CW Movie Night. Dean, Mike, how you guys doing?
I'm
Doing good,
excited,
man.
dude. I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm hyped.
that's good. That's good because I think I want to resonate on this sort of time period in cinema history that we've been loitering around for. The holiday special was a bit of a break, but like right now at this time in my life, I'm real nostalgic for the early 2000s. The last few years of pre-Dark Timeline films were like really fun and interesting to me, and it's not always about being a cinematic masterpiece as just being like loaded with like comedy and like preposterous action set pieces and gags and I think we're gonna have some disagreements tonight, and that's good and that'll be fun, but we're gonna be talking about the one and only Triple X. And yes, this is a line that's actually in the film. Welcome to the Xander zone. Now, did you guys like? Do you guys remember seeing this back when it came out in theaters? And did you think it was good at the time?
I remember seeing it in theater. Was it in theaters? I definitely remember
Was it?
seeing it when it was
Yeah,
when it
it
was
shouldn't have
new.
been. Sorry.
No, I meant was it in theaters when I saw it? God, what year did it come out?
Oh, three.
I would have been a freshman. Yeah, I probably would have seen something like this in theaters with my friends.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
but okay. So, but like you don't. I mean, it obviously didn't stand out to you that much. It's not part of your physical media collection, is what I'm gathering.
no, and I haven't seen it since. So, um, rewatching it, I was like, oh, I'm glad I rewatched it because, like Demolition Man, I don't need to rewatch that movie. I will, but I don't need to. But something like this, I was like, oh, I definitely needed to rewatch this because I
That's why I
remember
didn't watch it
nothing
again.
about
20 years.
it. Yeah, pretty much.
Mike, what did you used to think this was good and then sort of forgot about it for 20 years, and upon revisiting it have different thoughts? Is that what I'm gathering?
No, it never got me. Too
Okay.
saw it in the theaters, and it never worked for me. In fact, just quick story. So my buddy and I, who I go and see a bunch of movies with, we've been going and see movies, for 25 years. It's kind of our, kind of get away from the family, get out for a night, hang out. So we saw this, and my buddy, he's my best friend, my best man, Vince. I fully respect his opinions and his thoughts on cinema. He's well versed, very intelligent, but for some reason he actually enjoys this film, and I can
Man.
never comprehend it. And to this day, when we're arguing about something, disagreeing it, I end the argument with, "Yeah, but you like Triple X," so I win. So
Well, okay.
this I definitely have a history with the movie, even if I don't maybe enjoy it so much.
Okay, so it's a permanent mark against his character, an
Yeah,
otherwise flawless human being, as far as you're concerned. Okay,
exactly. Yeah.
that's good. That's good. Yeah. Well, this was a big year for the Diesel. Like this. I think this year also came out Chronicles of Riddick, which I think is his probably his best movie by a mile.
Well, Pitch
Like,
Black is better than
Yeah,
Chronicles.
pitch bad.
you think so? I don't know.
Yeah.
Chronicles of Riddick is like, oh my god, you guys shouldn't have spent this much money on a Riddick movie.
For sure, but in Pitch
Yeah.
Black, they don't really let him talk as much, so that's where he
Wow.
shines.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I guess both have Keith David, so that's a plus on both accounts there. But I don't know. It's crazy to me that he would have had both of these. Oh, we got Mitchell Lawrence quoting the movie,
Wow.
and he also likes Chronicle of Riddick, just like me. Jason Nelson says it's a fun popcorn movie. Seen it probably too many times to be proud of admitting. Right there with you, buddy. Sam Gist says saying hi, and we got Six Guns Figs, Jason Nelson. Appreciate you guys for hopping on and chatting a little bit, but he's got all of them, man. That's Riddick, I think. Yeah, but because he's an alien, he's not a man, but some kind of alien. But yeah, man, I don't know. Like, there, it's weird because like so this Triple X has the same director as the OG Fast and the Furious, which is Rob Cohen, and he's not he was I don't think believe he was involved in the Fast and the Furious renaissance that like Justin Lin got started. I don't think he came back to direct anymore after that. I don't actually know who directed the second Fast and the Furious off the top of my head, but the first one is like kind of a real movie compared to the other ones. Yeah,
like that's when they were good.
Hijacking a transport truck full of DVD players, that's the meme, right? And it's like by the 7th or 8th one, they're dropping a Hummer out of a space station or something. But
I think they're stealing the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah. I just remember like I have a like every few months I like shoot up out of bed as if I'm having a nightmare, seeing like a bank-sized safe being dragged down the street, and it's just like, oh my god, that was a real movie, and that was only 5. It got way crazier than that.
That's insane. That's a Dodge Challenger.
Yeah, and it's just when I see stuff like that, it's like it's like watching like Man of Steel or something and thinking about, oh man, all the collateral damage that the cameraman is not focusing on that must be happening in this scene. But but yeah, man. So but XXX it's very of its time. It's like a video game generation movie. You know what I mean? So like basically, what happens here is the tagline of the film is a new breed of secret agent, and it's basically like it's almost like some guys were like blue sky chatting, and they were like, what the heck would like a truly American James Bond movie be? I know, because Grand Theft Auto is popular right now, right? What if we get like basically a criminal skateboarder to like we just somehow rope him in to like be a secret agent? So the U.S. government recruits an extreme sports athlete, Xander Cage, to infiltrate a Russian criminal ring, which is plotting the destruction of the world, quite literally. That's the ambitions of these former Soviet officers who now have a criminal gang, and I feel like these sort of movies, yeah, it's exactly like that's like there's even a Q in this movie. It's exactly like James Bond, Mitchell, but it's like there's so many things that are exactly from James Bond, but then it's like Vin Diesel just like bumbling around, like being crazy, like like motorcycles reach 30 feet from like not even a ramp in this movie, like twice at least. It just sort of has repulsor lift technology in his motorcycles.
I feel it's a lot like if you let a kindergartner watch James Bond and then said, okay, now you do one. This is
okay.
how dumb it feels.
Jason Nelson's favorite quote, bitches come. Now, did you guys think that was a reference to
come?
It's like the opposite of the RoboCop line, right? That's pretty good. But yeah, I mean,
the opposite of the RoboCop line. Best
yeah,
stay?
and Red Foreman in RoboCop says "bitches leave" at one point, and it's quite famous. But
that's right.
yeah. But but I don't know if they were trying to reference that, and we were yeah. So but basically, you guys, specifically Mike, I think he agrees with the general population about this movie, and let's hear a little more about that from our buddy John, the Everyday Collector.
Hey guys, I'm back to give you the IMDb as well as Rotten Tomato score for XXX, and let me tell you, you got to be careful when you're searching for the ratings for this film. Kicking it off with IMDb, XXX got a 5.8 out of 10 with 189,000 reviews. On the tomato meter side, it got a 48% and a 58% on the popcorn meter with 250,000 ratings. Damn, this came out in 2002. I can't believe it's been over 20 years already. Kicking it back to you guys in the studio. I will see you next episode. Take care.
Okay, so nobody likes it on the internet neither, I guess.
Those numbers are higher than I would have expected.
Yeah, it's almost 60. That's a C, bro.
Yeah, well, if you guys remember, the holiday special wasn't much lower than that, really. So that might be the bottom of the scale, really.
It's graded on a curve.
Yeah, like no one gets below 40. We don't do unless it's like the Acolyte or something.
I was
we don't
about
do
to
that.
say, I think the Acolyte's like 3.
Yeah, I think, but I feel like I saw a headline that I think they took the audience rating off the Acolyte, but it did something like it beat The Room or something. Like there was a headline about it like beating something amazingly terrible. Like it's like guys, it's not actually worse than The Room.
Yeah, because The Room is terrible in a fantastic way. The Acolyte's terrible in a why did they do this to me way.
Stay focused, guys. Stay focused.
Sorry.
Oh, it's easy. It's easy. Yeah, you know times are bad when the season finale of Skeleton Crew came out like I don't know, like 4 days ago, and I have not felt the urge to watch it, even though I'm up to that episode. But here we are. But yeah, so this is a weird one to me because I would have thought this would have a higher Rotten Tomatoes score because the site came out a few years after the movie. So I feel like I look back on this movie favorably compared to currently available media, as it is like thoroughly a pre-dark timeline film here. But let's take a little bit of a look at the XXX saga. So this movie, believe it or not, spawned 2 sequels, and the second one, State of the Union, is starring Ice Cube. And it's Vin Diesel was too good for the XXX 2 in 2005, I guess.
Yeah.
Wait, he came back for the third one? I did
That's
not
right.
know that.
The Return of Xander Cage.
I had no idea.
And I haven't seen that, and you better believe it's on the agenda after rewatching the
Honestly,
first movie.
Bro,
we should do that one next week.
This movie ended, the credits were rolling, and it was like, viewers also watched Return of Xander Cage. And I was like, oh, I'm watching this right now. I'm going to do back to back. But I had to pay for it, and I was like, nah, I'm not that interested.
No.
This one was free to stream on Amazon, so
Yeah,
I
well,
have not seen the
Ice Cube one. Neither have I. But
Okay.
I think Samuel L. Jackson is still in it at least. So Samuel Jackson
Yeah.
plays Nick Fury in these movies, if you didn't know. So
Yeah.
it's pretty cool to get a little bit more of him in that role. Instead of an eye patch, he has a scar. That's pretty much the only difference.
I don't really even know why, like, the XXX thing plays really no part in this fucking story.
It was marketing. I believe it's just because his name is Xander.
90% of this movie plays no part in this movie. So it's perfect.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay, but I don't know if you guys like. I remember it just like this. You got to put yourself in the 2002 mindset. Like that title was a brave choice. Like it was edgelord, Xbox era boldness.
Like, it's cool. The logo's cool. He's got the cool tattoo. And I was like, oh, like, I guess we could talk about more when we start getting into the movie.
Yeah.
But I guess it helps the Ice Cube one. Again, I haven't seen it. Because it's like, it's not like Vin Diesel was walking around this movie like, oh, my name's XXX. You know, like,
Well,
Yeah, we'll
Didn't
get
he-
into it, but they do
Yeah.
reference it at one point, but it still doesn't make any
Once.
sense.
Yeah.
one time.
Yeah, and it's backwards.
Yeah, it's really stupid.
Yeah. Well,
But yeah, I don't know why they called this one
Again.
XXX. Just call it. I don't know, anything else.
yeah. I just like the. I
Straight
just
to
like the.
video.
Yeah. Well, I just like the idea of the fact that first of all, Vin Diesel in XXX 3 is 50 years old. So like it's even funnier that he's like basically a former like extreme sports guy. But I'm
Well-
excited to watch that one.
He did he was just at the Golden Globes. He did an award, like he gave an award. What do you call
Yeah.
that? A presentation?
Yeah.
And he still looks good. It's not like he looks like shit.
For sure. It's just and because he's been bald for 25 years, he looks even more consistent because of that. But but yeah, so let's get into the first film of the XXX Holy Trilogy, and we're spoiler alert, it's not a movie, so you don't need to worry about that. But, But yeah, basically, it starts out during a Rammstein concert, which is pretty
Oh,
sweet.
dude,
Yeah.
that was so good. The best part of the movie was this.
And you have clearly some secret agent guy being chased by some goons.
You
Okay,
got their wannabe James Bond guy.
okay, really quickly, what the fuck was this dude thinking? I'm gonna steal this plan from this guy and then immediately go into his nightclub to get away from the guy What?
Well, the whole point,
Dean,
Dean,
you're going to make me defend this script now at this point. This is the only thing that made sense to me. They use this to show how badly this guy stands out, and they need one of these dirtbags in order to actually pull something off.
it's better than that, Mike. The point of this scene is how much better America is than the UK. That's the point of this scene. It's like James Bond couldn't get the job done. It's time for a real secret agent. That's what the point of this scene is.
Yeah.
Fair.
So you have some classic Rammstein pyro, and
Bang, bang.
what's this guy's name? I don't know what other movies this guy's in. He's amazing. Martin Sokas.
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy's great. This guy's I don't even
Yorgie.
yeah, exactly. I can't convey when I saw this with my friends in high school, we would quote this guy for weeks. We thought this guy was the funniest.
Did you use the same terrible accent?
Dude, we thought everything this guy said was hilarious for
Bro,
so long.
I'm so glad you brought up his accent, Mike, because it wasn't until, I swear to God, the scene where the chick finds out that Vin Diesel is an agent.
Yeah.
Where
Man.
she says no, it's the scene where they're in the nightclub. He's like, oh, we used to be Russians. I was like, that's your Russian accent?
Yeah.
I had no fucking idea what country this dude was supposed to be from. It was crazy. It's not convincing. And I like this guy. Like I said, it's Celeborn, fucking Galadriel's husband.
There you go. Yeah. Okay. Now that you mention it, all right, I just can't imagine him as anyone else because this character is so potent and iconic.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's kind of like the opposite end of the spectrum because Celeborn is like beautiful with the long, flowing, like straight hair. An elf, and you got this guy.
Yeah, with his garish a Chinese dragon tattoo and everything. Just but and he basically just has Rammstein play for him every day. That's the kind of criminal he is. And I mean, just the delivery of some of his lines are just simply amazing. But the bottom line here is the clean cut by the book, wearing the tuxedo secret agent gets killed. And Samuel L. Jackson is basically the chief, and he's like, God dang it, we can't have this happen again.
Yeah, that was a hell of an impression.
We can't. This is
Sounded
not
just
good.
like him, to be honest.
Yeah, she's the angry police chief, just like we had in Ghost in the Shell and in Die Hard and all those movies. He's the disgruntled police chief. He wants to try a new strategy for figuring out what's going on with this Russian gang because whatever they're up to no good. We got some tips that they're plotting something big. So he wants to try something new, and then we cut away to
trouble in our neighborhood.
Exactly.
This shot made me laugh. This senator or whatever who's anti everything put this bumper sticker on his Corvette.
Yeah, well, you got to put yourself in 2002, right? Like back then, the conservatives were the censorship party. Things have changed, but it's all good. So they didn't like fun back then, and now things are different. But this is peak Tony Hawk Pro Skater time period. This
full
I
X Games.
thought Tony Hawk was
an
in
X
this
Games
movie.
promo.
Dean, I'm so glad you mentioned that because Tony Hawk is in this movie.
Okay,
You were right.
I thought so. In this next scene where they're filming Xander do his stuff,
Yeah.
I was like, that motherfucker looks like Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
It absolutely was. And for some reason, Tony Hawk is hanging out with Xander Cage while he commits extreme Grand Theft Auto. Tony Hawk's and now Tony Hawk's about 30 years old at this time, so he's really hanging out with some degens. You know,
Oh.
the first few games are already out. Like,
Right?
he's risking it all to hang out with these guys. But
Also, it's really stupid, right? Because the senator is like super, like your typical. You want to hate this guy immediately. You want the audience to want this dude to pay. So he's just like immediately volatile. Like, what does he say? Like, where are you from? Tijuana? I'm sorry, I don't mean to be rude, but
Yeah.
don't put it in the sun. I don't want the paint to fade. Like, yeah, cars' paints don't fade in an afternoon. Like, no one thinks that. So
He's worried about the paint. But again, he put this bumper sticker
right?
on his car.
So Xander Cage is like, fuck you, I'm stealing this car. So he steals the car, he gets into a police chase, and then it's like Xander Cage and like 4 cop cars, and then his friends right behind them.
Well, let's
Like,
not also
not
forget.
a mile away. They're like bumper to bumper with the police. I'm like,
including Tony
just pull
Hawk.
them over. Yeah.
And
Pull these
somehow
guys over.
managed to have enough time to rig all these YouTube GoPro cameras to the Corvette.
Oh, Mike, before YouTube exists also. And by the way, if you pay attention, they actually go and recover the cameras because they can't live stream from them because
Yep.
it's 2002. So they recover the cameras from the car after they crash it off the bridge because they need the SD cards to make
Yeah,
the
they
video.
get all the way down there, but the cops are just on the bridge, still up there. It's like, wait, you were in the chase, and now you're all the way at the bottom of the bridge, but the cops don't have enough time to get to the bottom. It was so stupid.
Well,
It
clearly
was
the
really
NSA
dumb.
told them not to go down there because they wanted to recruit Xander for
Oh,
themselves.
that's true.
Yeah.
That could be true.
Well,
Already, we're writing a better movie.
yeah. Well, it doesn't take long. XXX Xander Cage goes to his warehouse party to celebrate his big victory of crashing the senator's car, while his crack team of VHS editors gets ready to put out his next collectible VHS that's going to be distributed by the same company that does Faces of Death because it's 2002.
I didn't get a slide for her, but 2002's rap star Eve is his producer.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I thought she looked familiar. Yeah.
Yeah,
Also,
my
what's her face is in this movie? For a second, she's like, "Oh, I want to like make a video game with you." What's her name? Alice? No.
I don't remember.
Same scene. I didn't catch it, but yeah, my girlfriend watched this with me somehow and said, "Hey, that's Eve," and I'm like, "I don't know who you're talking about, but cool." That was basically about her only commentary for the whole movie. All right, so like basically, they raid his warehouse party because apparently when you steal a senator's car, you can still have a gigantic property where you have parties and no one finds you or comes bother you or anything like that.
He's like, "We got to upload this to rotten.com. And let's have a party afterwards."
Yep, where they watch
Live
his old.
leak.
Yeah. And I mean, they're playing some of the clips at the party. It's like same day edit in 2002. You love to see it, but yeah, basically, he gets raided and knocked out, and he wakes up a prisoner of Danny Trejo, which is just
Yeah.
you love to see it. And
No.
No.
The diner scene was first.
Okay, yeah. Well, Mike didn't.
I couldn't get
suffer
anything
through
good
all
from
that.
the diner scene. And when I was trying to look up slides, every time you would type in XXX and try to
Yeah,
find
good luck.
film stills, it got sketchy. So
Yeah. Yeah, so
I didn't look too hard.
they tranquilize him at his party, and he's like, "It was just a Corvette," and he wakes up in a diner. In fact, it might be the same diner from Pulp Fiction, which is funny because Sam Jackson's in this movie. But he wakes up in a diner and he figures out very quickly that like it's all fake. And
Because the waitress is
tranquil-
wearing heels.
Yeah. And so he stops this fake bust and he's like, "Oh, these guys aren't going to actually kill me. They got blanks in their guns." And Sam Jackson is like, "Oh, way to go. You passed the test." And Vin Diesel's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" They tranquilize him again. And now he wakes up in
Yeah.
a plane, a military plane. They throw him out. they land in, I'm assuming, somewhere in South America, and then he gets
Well,
taken
Yeah,
prisoner by
because
Danny
they're
Trejo.
surrounded by these coke plants, right? Because the
Hey,
one guy's trying to
Colombia?
put the leaves into his pockets.
Yeah, I guess
I
it's
missed
Colombia.
that detail. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
he's like,
cool.
you know how much this is worth back home? And he's
Yep.
stuff in his pockets. Yeah.
So yeah, but I mean, these other two guys don't make it, right? Like one of them almost does, but injured. But I'm pretty sure neither of them actually make it. Maybe the
One
one
of them
guy.
runs, and you don't
Yeah.
see him again. The other guy
He
does make
saves
it.
him, right?
Yeah,
I
he
think Vin
saves
Diesel
him,
saves
but
him.
then
I think that's part of passing the test.
Yeah.
yeah,
But no, the immortal Danny Trejo looks how he did 10 years before this and how he looks
Bro.
currently.
currently, yeah, dude does not age. He aged to 50 years old at 20, and then stopped aging.
He did all his aging in prison.
Yeah, I think he's over 80 now, which is amazing. But yeah, so Xander Cage basically destroys the whole Colombian gang and blows up their compound somehow. Like he's on it while it's exploding.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. This had me kind of hyped. I was like, all right, I like this. This is kind of cool. It's a cool
They
visual.
got him. They got him with all the X Games shots.
Yeah,
But it's like,
it was pretty dope.
But if you're willing to have this be the outcome, you might as well just bomb them. Like, it's like what are you saving at this point, really?
It was all
Also,
a
like,
test.
this is all a test. Yeah, exactly. It's like you definitely could have killed him at any point of. It's like, well, we need to find secret agents. Like, well, you keep killing them all, dude.
Dafet says his stage name is going to be Channing Gasoline.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean, what is Vin Diesel's real name? That's a question for the chat. I'm sure you can find it in about 8 seconds. It's probably something amusing. But yeah, basically Sam Jackson comes back.
It's vehicle identification number Diesel.
Dude, his name is Mark Sinclair.
He was conceived at the DMV, That's just what happened.
Mark
But,
Sinclair's his real
Yep.
name?
Yeah.
Yeah,
There
Vin
it
Diesel's
is.
better.
Oh
Crazy.
man. Oh wow, this escalates quickly. So basically, they basically the only way XXX is transported, he's like King Kong. Basically, you have to tranquilize him and then just put him on a container ship or throw him out of a plane. It's like
Yeah,
he
it's like,
doesn't-
bro, you're definitely gonna poison this dude's brain if you keep doing this to him.
And so,
He goes
so
nowhere
this is where we get the only sort of use or explanation for the XXX on his back. Sam Jackson basically says, "Oh, that must mean because you're a 3 striker, right? You're a 3-time loser.
Yeah.
So if you don't
which,
do this for us, you're going to prison for the rest of your life."
which might be the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Well, it's the right spot for it.
You know what's so funny? How much more attention Mike was paying during this movie than either of us, yet somehow he hates it the most.
No, I
It's
hate
really
watching it. I hate watching it the entire time.
So I have no memory of how he ends up in this apartment.
They fly him
They
there.
they drugged him.
Well,
No,
I
they
guess
didn't drug
No,
him.
there's this whole scene, and honest to God, I don't know if I ended up somehow watching like an extended version because I couldn't find any slides for it. But there's this whole scene where he's on the plane, and this kid's like watching him like read through these files and stuff. And he has this whole
Right.
conversation with this kid, and at the end, he kind of plants the seed that he does it because he gets to be the hero for it, right? So that's kind of the first mortality
You
or
definitely watch
morality test
extended
of
version.
yeah.
no, I saw that now that you mention it. But
Okay.
I wasn't in the Amazon version.
it must be.
I was locked in. I'm telling you, that
I'm
was
telling you
not
because
in
the site I used to get the slides didn't have anything from that scene.
But I will say I did when I rented it on Xbox, and I did see a scene that was pretty sure that was not in any previous version that I watched of this movie. But you got to look up how many alternate directors version. But I'm guessing that was the director's son, Mike. Otherwise, that kid was annoying, and why was he in the movie? But I guess it explains XXX's Heart of Gold. But very quickly, he's like, "Why? I don't want to be in this country." I have an agenda to infiltrate this gang. I'm literally just going to go immediately there and immediately talk to the ringleader of the criminal organization within 5 minutes. So
it's hilarious.
so basically, you know, there's an undercover local secret agent guy that goes with him and shows him the club that's run by Yorgi's gang here. And how does he earn some street cred with Yorgi, but give up the local undercover agent immediately, and he gets thrown out of the club because he's very conspicuous and just not spending enough money.
Okay, okay. This was one of the dumbest things in the movie. Because they're like, well, how the fuck did you know that he was a cop? And instead of saying something really cool, like, well, in my line of work, I have to sniff out cops all the time because, you know, of the nature of what I do on the internet. But instead he's like, well, he was flashing his badge around the bar. Like, they couldn't just go ask the bartender that happened. I was like, what the fuck kind of lie is that? It was so stupid. Like, it's dumb enough picking an internet celebrity where it's like they're gonna recognize him immediately, which they do.
Which pays off in his favor, though.
You might.
I guess it worked a little in his favor.
But he might have done that to sort of. He's trying to poke holes in this guy's organization and say his goons are just not up to scratch. You know what I mean? I think that's part of it. It's like your guys should have seen him doing that, but they're sloppy.
But that would have been even better. Like, I guess I don't know.
You're like, Dean, it's Shakespeare. Just accept it. Like, it's perfect the way it is. But so somehow without YouTube, one of the goons is already a big Xander Cage fan because he gets on rotten.com and he sees these sweet videos get posted and all that. Because there's no way he's getting a VHS shipped over here. So he must have access to some 240p.
Well, this is Berlin, so it's free, I think.
Okay, well, basically he's the one goon's like, this is Xander Cage, this guy's famous, and you know, that's enough to impress Yorgi, and they basically the U.S. Sam Jackson procures like some money so that Xander can buy some cars from Yorgi just to grease the wheels a little bit. And Mitchell, the guy's brother's a fan, not him. But he was very impressed to see Xander Cage. Okay, so like what
this dude was the best part of the movie, I think.
You know, Dean, we've learned recently, if you're in the Patreon chat on CW, today in the last couple of days, we've learned that Dean's a Bible scholar. Well, Mitchell Lawrence is a XXX scholar. And like, he's not letting a single incorrect detail slide tonight. So
we all have our
best behavior. Yeah, exactly. So
yeah, wait, you can still be a henchman even if you're related.
Yeah.
So just going back to that, just because he spots a cop in the bar and this guy's a fan, they agree to steal $1 million worth of cars and sell it to him. That's all it took.
Well, you know, based on living in Southern Ontario, I can easily see that being possible. Because you know, cars disappear from my area of the province and turn up a week later in places in South America with the Ontario plates still on Instagram channels for sale. But that's just the world we live in these days. So
ringing endorsement.
That wouldn't happen in America, Chris.
Yeah, well, you know, here you go to jail if you chase down the guy who steals your car. That's how Canada works. But anyways, no, there was big side story. There's a great story of a guy who put a tracker in his car. It got stolen. He chased it down to the docks where it was on a container ship, and he got a fine for trespassing, and the ship left the next day. But the police wouldn't do nothing about it. But that's Canada for you. But but yes, Mitchell, you are a true connoisseur, and I'm not hating. I appreciate the dedication and the detail there. But what?
Yeah. So after he gets, they accept him. They then go drinking, and apparently in a night of getting drunk with this gang, he somehow figures out how to hack all their information. I mean, this is
Oh.
stuff that Vin Diesel is now giving to the NSA that apparently they couldn't get. But, a night of bonding over, some tequila
Vodka.
or I guess vodka over there, he manages to become this, I don't know, hacker or something. I don't know. He gets all this information that the NSA
yeah.
couldn't get.
The way I understood it, he just wrote this shit down in a diary. Because
Maybe.
Samuel L. Jackson was like, how did you get all this information? And he said, oh, well, his brother got really drunk and started like telling me all this stuff. So it's like, you transcribed it in front of him or you remembered it? Like, you got home drunk, you're like, oh, I got to do this report. He's a fucking secret agent doing reports before bed. It's kind of silly. Oh,
Oh man.
Hey.
So
why was CM Chuck banned?
yeah.
What is he doing? I think he's trying to hack the stream right now.
No, he's not. He's not. He's not Xander Cage. Basically, I was trying to spotlight one of his wholesome comments, and I accidentally banned him. Hopefully, it's not
Accidentally.
permanent. Yeah. My finger slipped, Chuck. I'm sorry about that. But
Well, he can't hear you. He's banned.
Yeah.
he's
Well,
gone.
he can't even watch it. Oh
Does
man.
it kick you from the stream? I think it does. Oh, 300
Badfish
seconds.
says it's 3. Okay. Well, that'll learn you, Chuck. I don't know what you did, but anyways, nothing wrong.
300 seconds.
But yeah, Mike, I thought that Xander was just he had a photographic memory and he just interviewed every one of the goons and just memorized their whole lives.
I guess. Can you imagine him asking him all those questions and not being suspicious?
Yeah, like what type mother's made it?
Where do you go to school? Yeah.
First pet you ever had? Street you grew up on?
Yeah, but Sam Jackson is impressed that XXX turns over the entire organization's LinkedIn profiles in one night of work, just showing the sheer efficacy of his new program of hiring criminals to invade little gangs there. And we lost Mike, and I didn't ban him, I swear. So hopefully he comes back.
He just couldn't deal with XXX anymore. He's like, you know what? Fuck this movie.
He left in solidarity with Chuck. I think that's what happened there. But but yeah, the U.S. sends over their version of Q, and so there he is. Mike's back.
I couldn't take it.
Yeah, like I said, you left in solidarity with Chuck. But yeah, but basically, you waited the 300 seconds. But yeah, so we got American Q, who's this little goober who is very excited to show Xander Cage all the advanced gadgets that he has brought for him. And it's very it's super on the nose. Like, we're just doing a James Bond here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, this dude was super fucking annoying.
I think he's supposed to be, but yeah.
Also, just fucking sets off an explosive in a precinct that he's not a member of, blows up their shit. Everyone's freaking out. Like, yeah, none of these people in here are armed, and you're blowing shit up randomly.
Oh yeah, and I mean, just ruined all their hearing and everything. But never mind. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe you know a little more about explosives than me, Dean. But I feel like he put something the size of a Band-Aid on a wall, and it just blew up 3 feet of bricks. I don't know if that's. I think that defies physics, but but it's XXX, so
it's the NSA, bro. You don't know what they got.
Yeah, I guess so. But they show him this sweet selection of Camino saber darts.
Yeah,
bro, they literally look like fucking. Yeah, that's hilarious.
One of them, I think they use the exact same prop. It's I got to do a comparison because it's close. But basically, he's got sleeping gas. He's got fake bullets that put a blood splatter and knock a guy out. He's got.
Chuck's burner account. Can we ban this one too?
He's right back in there.
Poor Chuck. Leave him alone. He's a sweetheart.
No, I don't assume that because of Dean's nationality, Chuck. It's because he's very open about some of his hobbies. That's the only reason.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I love his choice of gun in this movie. 44 Magnum. I got one too.
Is that like the Clint Eastwood one from back in the day, but with a giant space age scope on it, or what?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. 44 Magnum, the most powerful handgun in the world. Although not anymore. Now it's the 500 Smith & Wesson, I think.
Okay. Well, I mean, those old Dirty Harry posters where like it's like the reference photo was such a wide angle lens that the gun is like bigger than Clint Eastwood's whole torso in the shot. Like it's just aimed like that. Like that's some iconic stuff, man. But yeah, basically he's got a space aged like upgraded Magnum, and I mean, this is one of the funniest things in the movie.
Dude,
so there's
Yes.
this was so stupid. I'll take everything else in this movie.
Come on,
But
you
this
said that
was
already.
egregious. This was so egregious. It was like, what?
Well, it's okay. You have to understand. So this is basically this. He's got X-ray goggles because his name's XXX, so therefore he has X-ray goggles. And basically,
That lets him
just
see a naked lady, which is also XXX.
yeah.
Ooh.
So because basically, Dean, you're misinterpreting the whole thing. The scenario is that
Dean giggling because there's a butt on screen.
I'm
Dean,
giggling
Dean,
because it's like you're misinterpreting it. It's like
Dean, he's out of range for testing the X-ray glasses. That's where he is. She looks at him, knows what he's doing, and smiles back at him.
Yes.
That is 2002 in a nutshell.
bro, bones. There's no fucking shot. You know, you want to fucking ski down a fucking mountain with an avalanche behind you and it doesn't catch up? Sure. You want to fucking jump a Corvette off a bridge and parachute down to safety? I'll buy it. This, you can see her bones.
Well, Dean, your scientific knowledge is very disappointing. It's actually more technically possible to see her bones than see what we're seeing on the lower half there.
But that's what I mean. Like, there's like levels to it where it's like,
yeah,
her flesh, her muscles, her bones, her organs, and then goes back and forth. It's like, bro.
Yeah, but she looks back at him, and because 2002 Vin Diesel is just a 10, she's just very excited to see what he's up to, and it's a very bizarre scene. And but you know I think what's even more egregious is later in the film, the one time he employs the X-ray goggles, he just looks through like 3 feet of brick with them.
Yes.
Just
Doing nothing. It's like, I'm gonna infiltrate this fucking. Okay, we'll get to it. Actually,
yeah, but it's like they do come back up, and he uses them for a practical purpose, which is thoroughly impossible.
yeah, taking like fucking vivid HD photographs
It's just color video through a wall.
brick wall.
It's like optical. It's literally just HD video through a 3-foot brick wall. It's
Yeah.
like it'd be one thing if it was like infrared or something, that blurry infrared, but still not possible through that much brick. But anyways, but anyways, so he procures the deal for these cars. There's a little bit of tension because what's Sam Jackson's character, Agent Augustus Gibbons? He's a little bit late.
Gibbons.
He's a little bit late on the e-transfer because it's 2002, and back then e-transfers took 25 minutes to process internationally. They weren't instant like they are today. So
it gave them a chance to do the little Fast and Furious crossover here, because of course, just for himself, Vin Diesel wanted a a Pontiac GTO.
Yeah.
So
this
everybody
is
else is
that
driving
car?
the foreign sports cars, and Vin Diesel gets his American muscle.
Which they find in a barn in another country overnight. That's almost more unbelievable than the fucking.
I feel like I'm
X-ray
slowly
class.
pulling Dean over to my side with this movie.
Don't get me wrong. It's fun to watch, but when we sit here and critique it, it is dumb as shit.
Well, it's pretty soon.
Okay.
I don't.
I'll buy the X-ray glasses and the fucking avalanche, but have live Tesla coils in a club and people are getting fucking electrocuted to death. The fucking show.
You wouldn't even be able to hear the music. These things are so loud at that size. But
Fucking.
but you've seen like videos. There's like some rednecks who have ones this big in their backyard, but it's like they fire that thing up and they're like 30 feet back, and it sounds like the world is ending. But
Shit. Oh my god. I think Mike's right. You know what?
Yes. That's it. End the
Just
stream
the
now.
More and more I see him, I'm reminded by. I'm like, oh yeah, I did think that was dumb as fuck. Oh.
yeah.
Oh my god.
But anyways, he starts chatting up Yorgi's number one officer, played by Asia Argento, and she's a fun character.
She's cute.
Yeah, like she's a highlight of the movie for me. She seems like more competent than most of the other characters. But
yeah, pretty. I don't know what her nationality is, but her accent didn't bother me. I don't know if she was putting that on, or she actually has that accent. I don't know.
Yeah, not sure, but she they get to know each other a little bit, and it falls short. He doesn't quite seal the deal that night, but almost. But he learns more about the organization, and he sort of can tell that Yorgi sort of wanted her to talk to him and just get a little more information and see if she can sniff out if he's a rat or not. Basically, that's the sort of vibe you get, because he sort of tells her to hang out with him.
Yeah, this is where he figures out about Anarchy 99.
Which is like
Comrades died in the war for what? Whose country? Yours. What are you talking about?
It still exists, brother. But
Yeah.
it really got its act together again very quickly. But anyways, so yeah. So the next day, she foolishly gets busted by Xander, and her both starts monkeying around early in the morning in Yorgi's palace. Which
Okay.
I'm disappointed you didn't get shots of the girl fountain that he has in the front of his palace, Mike.
I was about to say this, and I'm almost glad there's no pictures of it. So they pull up to this mansion. There's girls everywhere. And Xander's like, okay, I'm going to go to bed. And there's just a girl in there waiting for him. Now, movie magic and the look on this girl's face, she wants to be there. But like the realistic version of this movie is she's definitely there against her will. And
Even better, in the version I watched, there were 3 girls.
oh my God.
I think you're mixing up two scenes, Mike.
I don't know. Maybe.
But
I don't know.
So the thing you have to understand about the scene Dean mentioned is, one, I feel like she dances for an entire song.
It's
There's
a
no
long.
There's no dialogue, and then one of the greatest lines in the whole movie. Xander is going to bed with her, and he says, "The things I'm going to do for my country," and then it cuts away.
That's right.
Which,
I was
why
thinking
would
of
you
I was thinking of Yorgi's bedroom.
why would you say that to a girl that you're undercover? You don't know who this girl is. How do you know she's not going to turn around and be like, yo, he said some fucking weird shit about serving his country?
Thinking with the wrong head, Dean. We've all
Yeah,
done
but
it.
it's like,
Can you imagine?
I mean,
that'd be great if like he was at gunpoint the next morning and they're like, she said that you told her you're a secret agent for the U.S. But yeah, but basically, Dean's dying. This movie's so stupid. But the next morning, she's cracking Yorgi's safe for some reason, taking pictures of it. That's not sus at all. And Xander's already in his little 1999 quality computer cage, which is like in the middle of his atrium with chain link fence around his like 3 computers. And then with it's pretty
In
wild
chain
setup.
link just in the front. You could just walk right around it. There was no reason for it there.
It's to keep the partiers out of there because they might spill a drink on his mainframe or whatever, his modem. But yeah, or I don't know if are we so like they pretty much figure out pretty quick here that
he catches her trying to break into that safe or take pictures of it. And that's when she basically then comes out and tells him that she is also a secret agent at this point.
No, she doesn't tell him that yet.
She doesn't?
No, at this point, at least in the version I watched, he's like, yo, what if I told you I was an agent? And she's laughing at him like, you're stupid. And then that's when she gets a call that the sniper is outside because they figured out that Xander is an agent.
Okay.
And so she hangs up the phone and she's like, can you really get me out of here? And he's like, yeah, I can.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, get the chronology of XXX straight, guys.
I can't.
Seriously.
I'm trying to burn it from my brain.
But but he pulls like a Michael Keaton and blocks some bullets with a little pan here.
I'm pretty sure that's her blood on there. He pissed the fucking shit out of her. He's like, yo, they come up with a plan really quick on the spot. He's like, do you still have your gun? She's like, yeah. He's like, aim it at me. And I'm thinking like, oh, he's going to like, do some cool stuff and like get out of there. He fucking, wow, right in her fucking face. It's like, dear Lord.
You think he's going to like take her hostage or something, right? Use her body for a shield. But instead he just smacks her across the head.
Well, it's performative for he knows the sniper's on him, so he's got to look real, guys.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was real.
Oh, amazing. What a shot.
Oh, dude, this was... I'll buy the fucking X-ray glasses and the Tesla coils, but this...
Oh.
I'm just kidding. This was actually really... I was like, yeah, that's cool.
It made me want to play Tony Hawk 3,
I mean, 100% that tray bends under his weight, but it was still cool.
Yeah. So, he escapes in incredibly stylish fashion and meets Gibbons, who's just hanging out at the opera nearby.
If you're in Eastern Europe, you go to the opera.
And you buy out the whole theater as well while you're at it.
Right.
Which costs more than the operation. But,
I'll buy the... No, I'm just kidding.
But but basically Gibbons easily psychologically manipulates Xander yet again.
Yeah,
he says
go home.
He plays him like a fiddle. He plays him like a fiddle, and he's like, oh, your girlfriend's not getting citizenship, but you done good. You can go back home, and we'll call it even. We'll clear your criminal record. And he just knows that's not going to be good enough because he knows that Xander deep down has a heart of gold, and he's going to save that girl. And in doing so, stop the entire doomsday operation of Anarchy 99 just as a side consequence of collecting the girl and making sure she's safe. Gibbons just knows that's what's going to happen. And Six Guns Fisk says that Craven jacket, though. Yeah, we're going to talk about that jacket a bit later. but yeah, so basically, over the course of this, we've sort of learned that he's got a plan. I don't know if you have any of it here, but Yorgi has the secret lab where he's making chemical weapons.
Right. So this is when he goes to break back into the palace or the castle to save the girl, and this is where he stumbles upon the
brick wall
submarine for the chemical weapons that he's using.
Yeah, and basically it's like an awesome like Snake Plissken submarine, and it's just like it has like colored water rockets of poison on the front of it, and Yorgi kills all his own scientists, and he laughs in their face and says bye bye little mouse, which me and my friend said like for weeks to each other while killing each other in Halo and stuff. I don't know.
The beauty of the shot when they go from those scientists in the white jumpsuits running around and they pan over to the white mice in the box all scrambling
Yeah.
for their lives too. It's
Yeah.
poetic.
In case you didn't notice, they sang that because they were already doing animal testing. They make sure that you catch it.
Yeah.
And their little jumpsuits match, and Yorgi thinks it's hilarious. Not everyone on his team thinks it's so amusing, but you gotta clear the paper trail, because when you literally shoot chemical weapons at every major city on the planet, you don't want one of your scientists to start spilling the beans on a podcast or something in 2024. When
And you got to make sure it works, right? That would be embarrassing if you did all this just to find out it didn't work.
Yeah, but but like
Anarchy 99 would be a laughing stock.
yeah, but basically his whole mission is just to collapse like world governments and hopefully he'll get to. Basically, he saw Mad Max as a kid and he said someday I'm gonna have football armor and have a motorcycle in the desert, and he wants to live that life. And
Yeah, when he's fucking monologuing about imagine no governments and they all kill each other, I was like, like whatever's left, someone's just gonna start a new one, right? Like, what are
within
you talking about?
days. Yeah.
Yeah, like they're not just gonna be like, oh well, they all died, so I guess we're just free now. No, like someone's gonna be like, yeah, we got to get this shit in order.
Yeah, like it's like he doesn't understand that you need the amount of infrastructure you need just to power Rammstein's amps. Like, what kind of world do you want to live in, man?
Yeah, what are you fucking trying to run the world on your Tesla coil club? Come on, brother.
The guy couldn't
Get
understand how to
real.
button his shirts throughout the entire movie. You want him to understand this?
But something about his cartoonish, like his delivery of his plan, as it makes no sense on paper, but the way the passion with which he describes his goals, I just believe that he thinks that way. I don't know, man. This guy's a cartoon character. It's amazing. Like his monologue is so funny to me. Oh man, what was this other great line? When he says "son of a bitch," it's that cop from the club. Like, oh my god, we used to fucking say that all the time too. Thought that was hilarious. But it's just like every.
From the club.
It's not applicable to any situation, but it's so funny to me. But
Also, yeah, how did you figure that out? He's like 80 feet away, running away from you,
and they just leave
Everyone
his body
looks
there.
the same from behind. Yeah, they don't even investigate.
They assume he's a
Also-
dead police officer that they shot and no witnesses, but they're just gonna leave his body like 80 feet from their warehouse. But anyway.
Yeah, and he also didn't find it suspicious. Like, that cop was around when Xander Cage was around when I just met him. And Xander Cage is here, and that cop is here again, too.
Well, Xander got around
shit
that.
together.
He did, but Xander got around that by shooting the cop himself. That was the whole point.
I mean, he fucking
watching
forgave
Dean
him
go from
super fast.
Watching Dean go from I had fun watching this movie to where he is now. It's like watching Bruce Banner turn into the Hulk. He's just getting so angry about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is going on much longer than I thought it would so this is a good pick. This is a good pick.
Really quickly, what did I tell you in the chat? It's a turn your brain off and enjoy it movie. The second the brain is on analyzing it, it's fucking dumb as fuck.
As you can see, he's flying in the motorcycle again.
Yeah.
I don't even know what happened between those two frames. These are two frames that Mike decided to put back to back.
Brother.
So
When
so
I
it's like-
tell you, you
I gave
don't
up at
need
this
to
point.
do that. You don't need to do this to draw your weapon on a bike. I don't know.
Yeah, but he had
just
to get
did
it
for
lined
the
up
fuck
just
of it.
right.
Giving him a lot of fucking leeway.
now I was looking at the XXX is old enough that there are lobby cards. So like they're like the studio would send out promotional packages to movie theaters that could put up pictures of Vin Diesel flying around. And there's one of them There's one of them of this that it really looks like they pasted his face onto a stunt double in post. This one doesn't look so bad, but there was one they made a lobby card out of where it's like real bad. But yeah, so go ahead.
Well,
Dean,
Chris, so I'll catch you up on what happened since you weren't paying attention to the slides. At some point between these two, they find out that he's there and he has to escape. So they're chasing him out of the castle, trying to catch him. And obviously, to get over the walls of the castle and kill the sniper in the tower, you get this.
And that's when
That's all there is.
That's when Yergi's brother explodes. And one of the least climactic ways I've ever seen in something so climactic.
I didn't even realize it was one of his brothers. Just
He's
random dude number one.
He's chasing Vin Diesel also on a bike.
Yeah.
And he makes the jump after Vin Diesel. Vin Diesel, for some reason, has already had time to land and get off of his motorcycle and look in his direction. And he blows him up. And it just shows the dude in slow motion, look at Vin Diesel oh, why are you standing there? And then he explodes. But it doesn't really show the explosion. It just implies that he is exploded. And I was like, that didn't feel earned at all.
It's like there's weird choices, right? Mike was
when you chose this movie.
Well, no, I just mean from
They
it's
chose
almost
to
like
make this movie.
I woke up and chose violence, but Mike was describing a scene with three naked girls in it that occurs at one point in Yorgi's room, and I think it's the only nudity in the whole movie, and it's almost like it's such an irrelevant scene. There's just sitting in his bed for 3 seconds, and it's like, could you have had a PG-13 instead of an R just but for that 3 seconds? Most of the kills are not that violent, so it's like they would make foolish choices like that back in 2002. It's like I don't think they go over their F-bomb count for a PG-13. There's probably only one in there. I don't remember it standing out that there's gratuitous amount of cussing in this movie per se, and the kills are all very James Bond. Every James Bond movie is PG or PG-13, and people get shot all the time. They're very non-graphic kills. You don't want to limit that audience reach, but in the case of XXX, it's almost like
they didn't give a fuck.
Rated R was like a marketing angle at the time.
Right, because they sold this thing as being edgy, right? So how do you make a movie called XXX and be edgy and then PG-13?
Right, because they know the teenagers, their parents aren't going to let them go just because of the title anyways, so it might as well be rated R. But but basically, his futurist Yorgi's submarine is basically, it's going to go around the world at 30 kilometers an hour and somehow not be stopped by any military and just shoot missiles. So it's going to take a month.
I put that other slide. Go back one more slide. I put this in for a reason. So at this point, they pan up this table with all these ridiculous weapons, and he tells the Q character, "I want all this in my car." And he says, "No problem." So in theory, all these ridiculous weapons have been loaded into that Pontiac GTO, only to later basically use one to blow up a potato cart that's in their way.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it does happen.
Well, he also totally rebuilds the whole dashboard with controls and writes a manual in about 2 hours, which actually defies physics more than anything else in this movie.
Okay,
you literally.
So I'll buy.
No, there's literally physically not time to write a book that thick in between those two scenes. It's actually impossible unless he just already had it. It was a back burner project that he just got done on the cheap.
Yeah, right.
We're explaining away all of it. So we have some classic James Bond ripoff skiing action here, which is all the best James Bond movies have some skiing violence in them, on Her Majesty's Secret Service. The Spy Who Loved Me, I think, has a ski chase, and one of the Pierce Brosnan ones has a good ski chase. They're, it's seeing goons on skis with guns or getting avalanched over is always a good time. Like it's just, like I don't even understand why. Like he's like this was the way back into the castle. I guess there's.
Yeah, I think the only way they could get to it, because his castle's surrounded by these mountains, was to airdrop him in, if I remember correctly. So
Right.
you got
Is
yet
that
another
the
skydiving. What's that?
Dean's like, that's the same castle.
No. Is that why he does that? I thought he was trying to destroy this tower specifically.
Yeah, so he blows up the mountain or whatever. He sets the avalanche on purpose.
Yeah.
Right, but
For-
that
for
tower
what
was like
actual reason, I don't know. I just to
There's-
take out their television.
there's some
Yeah,
throwaway line about disrupting their communications, or they have a radio disruptor or something. Like there's some reason
Yeah.
why he needs to get rid of that tower to complete the operation, because it's a GoldenEye N64 objective. So that's what he has
Right.
to do, and it's awesome. And
He managed to get that avalanche that destroys everything except for that shitty little television tower that he lands on. Somehow that thing survives.
yeah, and it stops right in front of Yorgi's front window,
Yep.
like to within 5 feet. Yeah, but most of Yorgi's goons get killed in a shootout here, and he launches Ahab. Get it? Because it's going after the great whale. It's going after the every government is the white whale, and he's gonna take him out, and he's gonna kill himself in the process, because it's so Shakespearean, it's like so literary, he's like he's really Ahab, because he's gonna die in the process of trying to kill the whale, but but I love his somebody wrote on their Ahab with a Sharpie just to make sure
Right.
that you knew that's what it was called.
It's even got like a spear on the front, like a whaling spear.
Yeah. What a stupid design for a fucking submarine.
Pedro Lopez loved this movie, just so you guys know. So be nice.
This shot. Jesus
Pedro,
Christ.
don't watch the first
They're
half
like,
of this
he's
show.
like, use that grenade launcher, and the guy tells him it's a heat-seeking rocket, and you literally see the cartoon light bulb go off above Vin Diesel's head, dude. And he's like, I can take out this guy because all he does is smoke. So
Dude,
this heat-seeking rocket's gonna take out the sniper.
All right, I shit you not. So I have a buddy who like you were saying, Mike. We used to go to the movies together all the time. Like 2 weeks ago, before I decided to watch this movie, this is the reason I watched this movie and recommended it for the show, is because he sent. No, I think I said there. I saw a reel on Instagram that was like, it was literally like a heat-seeking rocket viewfinder, literally tracking a cigarette being waved back and forth. And I sent that to him in our Instagram chat, and I just said, "The son of a bitch is smoking," and he just fucking died. He's not seen the movie in 20 years, and he's like, "I know exactly what that is." I had to fire it up and rent it, because there's like, I don't know why, it just stands out to me as like one of the most hilarious things in the movie.
It's crazy that you remember that. Not the premise, but the fucking line. The son of a bitch is smoking. That's crazy work, dude. Insane.
But it's just like it was that impactful to me at the time. I don't know, man. This was like, when we had the posters up of all three, XXX2 State of the Union, it says on that poster, directed from the director of Die Another Day, and I'm like, that's right up there. That might be the stupidest James Bond movie. It fits right in with all this stuff. Like,
Wow.
It's like a higher budget version of this, really. It has like ice castles, and I think instead of skiing, James Bond does some surfing in that movie at about 50 years old, fights some goons while surfing. And yeah, man. So this is just of a time of abject chaos, kind of, it's right around the time Terminator 3 came out. All the best stuff came out around
All the
this
good stuff.
yeah.
The renaissance of family.
Pedro says saw it in the theater and bought the Best Buy exclusive that came with a keychain.
Oh, wow.
My God.
God.
The keychain was just the 3X.
3X's.
Pedro, I love you and I appreciate you for joining the show, but never admit that to anybody, dude. It's a
He bought
safe
the
space here.
Keychain was so
He bought
edgy.
It was like the early 2000s equivalent of a 4K steelbook. He's like, I gotta have it. So basically, XXX in his new souped up car chased down the submarine, even though it's in the canal and they're like on the roads. They're blowing up market carts, like Dean was saying. They're shooting their way through the town, causing collateral damage, blowing stuff up. And
that should have been the name of the movie, Cows and Collateral Damage. That has more to do with this movie than XXX.
So this is the last. I mean, we skipped over. Yorgi is pathetically shot while he's trying to escape on like a little dinghy or a sea-doo or something. I don't know. He just crashes into a
So dumb.
rock or something.
It was so anticlimactic. I could have sworn, because again, I haven't seen this movie since the theaters. I was like, oh, they're both going to wind up, because I remember the ejectocito thing and the parachute, and he gets down to the submarine. I thought Yorgi was on the submarine, and they like fight, and it's like a fight against the clock to stop it.
Yeah, like you're thinking it's gonna be like GoldenEye, like they're two sides of the same
Right.
coin. They're gonna have a face off at the end, but no.
Right, so I'm watching this movie, and Yorgi gets shot, and I was like, oh, there's no way he survives any. He got shot with like a 5.56 like 2 times. Like, that's a pretty significant wound.
Oh yeah, he
And
died.
then- yeah, immediately, because I was like, oh, bro, like, you're going to crash that boat. And immediately right into a wall. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. So now what? Just stop the fucking
So
thing.
now what? Roll credits.
Like,
Yeah.
you want the villain to be the villain until the very end. You know what I mean? But they got rid of him in such a anticlimactic way. I think that might be, and I'm not saying this to be funny, the worst part of the movie is the villain isn't anything. He's not a real threat. You shot him twice, he crashed a boat and died. Now you just got to catch up to the bomb. Like, it was that was pretty lame.
Oh God.
It's a bad villain. It doesn't, like, some of the best movies have really good villains that just, won't fucking die. You're like, please kill this fucking dude.
Okay, and am I having a stroke here, or like is there a plot point where Samuel L. Jackson is considering like nuking this whole city because
Yes.
that will
Yes.
Yeah, he's
Yes.
like, well, if something happens, just nuke it. And they're like, well, that'll kill everybody in the city. He's like, well, better the city than the world.
Yeah, he sits in a better one city than 10 or something like that.
Or, yeah, he doesn't want to nuke the plant or the city. He wants to blow up the submarine, but it'll release the toxin in the city.
Okay,
I think.
Yeah,
I
that
think
sounds
that's
right.
what
Yeah.
it is.
because he
Because,
didn't.
it has to be at the bottom of the canal or whatever for it to blow.
Yeah.
Filter out, yeah.
Well, I think Gibbons missed the bit of exposition that just putting the chemical underwater nullifies it, like, which is conveniently sitting in at all times. Critical design flaw, but yeah, basically, big surprise. Mike had enough by the time we got to this part of the slides. So basically it goes from this to the end. So basically, he somehow
he somehow manages to hack this submarine, right? So he gets into the control panel. He then figures out, to switch
Hold on.
rocket, I guess.
Hold on. He opens up the control panel and then he just looks at it in fear for like 20 minutes before doing anything.
Yeah, I was like, just pull it out. What are you doing?
He just looks at it and it cuts away to like 3 other scenes and it comes back to him and he's still just looking at it.
And then how does he stop?
building
He just
tension.
pulls it out.
He pulls it out and loads it backwards, like as if putting a banana in a tailpipe. It's just like-
Not gonna fall for that.
Yeah, it's like, you know what you could do, man? pick it up and throw it in the water. It's going to sink and get filtered in the water if it explodes. Why are you doing any of this? I was like, that was my initial thought. I was like, well, pick it up and throw it off the thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, they're like, you know, when you load a weapon into a thing, like, you know, you can't just pull the weapon out. So I was like, all right, I'll you know, whatever. And then he just pulls the weapon out and flips it around. I was like, what the fuck was stopping him from just chucking them overboard?
You had to build tension, Dean, because what you're not going to see in these next slides, because I didn't put them in there, is that they think XXX dies when this thing blows up.
Yeah. Well,
so there's this whole 3-minute somber scene where everybody's sad that Xander
because they
couldn't make
killed the fucking villain off too early. It's so stupid.
Well, but you know, bottom line is Xander Cage rides the sub like a skateboarder. It's a callback to the car from the beginning. You know, he just like stands on fast moving things and
the Xander zone.
It's what and this time he got the news filming for him rather than his first gen GoPros, which are standard def. So
yeah,
like,
the
he's
people
all
in
over
the news helicopter are like, what did he say? I don't know. We're too far away. He's talking to himself. There's no camera there, dude. What are you saying that for?
Yeah. So, but you know, basically, he wins the video game, and his new girlfriend is the main character, the other main character of the movie, because that's how these things end. And I think it's the exact ending from Die Another Day, where they're just on a beach in the Caribbean somewhere.
I think
yeah,
it's
that's
Bora
the Halle
Bora.
Berry one, right?
Yeah. Which
Bora Bora.
Amazing.
Yeah, fucking Xander comes out of the fucking river, and Samuel L. Jackson is like, "Oh shit, you're alive!" And he's like, "Are you okay?" And he just goes, "Bora Bora." Like, one, you're 100 feet away. He didn't hear you say Bora Bora. You're facing the opposite direction. And two, that's not an answer to a question that he asked. It's not like, "Hey, good job, XXX. We're gonna send you on a vacation. Where do you want to go?" I'm doing okay. Like, what the fuck, dude? But yeah, he ends up in Bora Bora.
Yep, and it's a great and you have the classic sequel setup where Gibbons is trying to call him on his Nokia or BlackBerry one, and he's like, "We got the next mission for you, Xander," which the next mission wouldn't come for 15 years.
Yeah, you passed the test.
Bro, the fucking FaceTime in this movie on Nokia flip phones is better than FaceTime now. In 2024.
Dude, the best part about it was that it was clearly just like they just used the same camera they were filming the movie with, and it's like a 50 mil of him sitting, like the camera's like 5 feet away from Gibbons, like at his desk, doing like a sit-down interview for the news, basically. That's his like his call.
Yeah.
It makes no sense at all. It's amazing. But and then you get your CGI James Bond ending rather than in the opening credits.
Fuck yeah, dude.
But you have your like awesome James Bond intro at the end because it's XXX, so they can't put it at the beginning.
Yeah.
So it's amazing.
Also, the visualizer makes no fucking sense. Wings and roses.
It's just generic.
It's
biker
generic,
tattoos.
edgy. Yeah, it was fucking stupid. Like the rest of this movie.
Oh,
God.
all right. So
I think my job here is done.
Made sense.
I've turned Dean.
You know what? I'm actually a little sad this episode is coming to an end because I've had so much fun.
Oh, there's more.
On this.
Yeah, we're not done yet.
Oh yeah, there's more.
But I'm sad.
Okay, so I had to look for I had to scope out for what behind the scenes content there was as far as images, and there's not much, but I wanted to share some fun stuff with you guys. Let's see. So here's a picture from the premiere where Rob Cohen is hanging out with the the star Asia Argento. He's a cool guy. Basically, he's like I think he fancied himself basically a Vin Diesel as well, because he was directing Fast and Furious and XXX, and he's just like, we're gonna have a bike and a car at the premiere, and we're gonna have some sweet photo ops because it's 2002, and
what's his name?
Rob Cohen.
And
director of the first Fast and the Furious as well, which was 99, 3 years earlier than this. Yeah, Jason Nelson is in favor of this as a pick, maybe not as a movie, but as a pick for CW movie night, and I think that's the point. Um, so like it just like they're just having fun at the premiere. Like you got a branded car there. You guys are car guys. I don't know what that is, but maybe
That's
it's
a
what from the
It's a
movie.
Corvette.
that's a C6, I think, or a C5.
Yeah, and then
Not even the right color from the fucking movie.
Yeah, right. It's not in the same car.
and would you believe it? Like they when you're doing a big time movie like this, you got to do a lot of promotional stills. And what characters are you going to heavily feature in your promotional stills? But the girl who gets X-ray goggled, naked. She's got
Hey,
there's like
she also flies the fucking
yeah.
plane.
She comes back.
Snowboards. She
Yeah.
plays a pivotal role.
For sure.
And
I just thought
what
it
a
was funny
babe.
that this is like 2 out of like 10 promotional stills I saw of her, and it's just funny because it's like they have their fabric white background that the guy didn't steam that day because it's wrinkly as hell.
That's
And
such a fucking funny. Okay, because one, it's kind of what you do for a living is like photographing and like staging shit for.
it's just
like,
not even lit.
So
Yeah,
like
but,
the fact that you are pointing that out makes this way fucking funnier because I wouldn't. It's like a bed sheet, you know.
well, you fold it, and then when you need to have it clamped up so it's tight, and you got to steam it if
Right.
it's still wrinkly. But this is just lazy, right? But anyways, but she
It's
was heavily.
edgy. It's supposed
heavily-
to look like the bed sheets after sex.
Well, they were probably.
Dirty.
You know what? They probably said, "Oh, we'll just cut her out in the Gen 1 Photoshop afterwards," but they realized that was way too much work in 2002, so they just kept the pictures the way they were. But like I said, so this is some of the last real
That's a
printed
beautiful
lobby.
woman, by the way.
Yeah, this is some of the last printed lobby cards you'll ever see. This is the last era of VHS,
Wow.
2002, 3,
Wow.
and you got printed lobby cards. And
That's crazy.
so these are some of the sweet scenes from XXX that they wanted you to know about in the theater. And here's another lobby card, you guys. You ready for this?
Yes.
The sex slave, the trafficked woman.
And it says Vin Diesel is XXX, and then it's got the date the movie's coming out. This is how they promoted films back in the day. And then
That's
and
not-
then that's a real lobby card, Dean. Wrap your head around it. And okay, and so this guy is one of the goons. I think he's the goon who recognized his brother. His brother's a
Yeah.
fan of XXX, and he's one of the only. He was so excited to be there that he took a few behind the scenes stills of his own. So he's just like, "This is my big break, XXX."
Do you
I
think
got-
he's
I got-
done anything since?
I got lines.
Dude, please
And here he is.
fucking IMDb it.
I'm on
Here
it
you-
right now.
Here he is with Sam Jackson. I'm guessing that's his chair if you're looking him up.
Petrov, Jekyll.
Oh yeah, I found him here. I got him.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do we got? He's in something with Michael Caine on his trailer there.
Michael Caine. My name's Michael Caine.
I don't recognize the first 10 most recent things, but yeah, I got nothing.
He's listed as producer on all those things.
Oh wow. Okay.
Let's see, where's the actor?
So he moved into being that's
Oh, he's
I
in
mean,
Alien versus Predator.
well that's the year after
Oh.
this, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
So is he? I guess he's one of Wayland's enforcer guys or something.
would
I don't
guess.
remember.
Let's see.
Yeah, another classic film. But here he is with Samuel L. Jackson and Vin Diesel, and you can tell Vin Diesel just loves being in those early 2000s selfies that were done with disposable cameras that had flashes. You know,
Yeah, you hit them on your palm and they take a photo on accident.
yeah. But you got that real properly exposed shot there. So so you guys all this might be this might be like one or two across the board from us. Like, I don't know about you guys. What do you say, Dean? How many Men of Culture out of 5 do you rate XXX?
I'm gonna give it 2 scores.
Okay.
1 score is in the moment, turn your brain off, watch the movie, eat popcorn. I think it's a solid 4. It's fun. It's funny.
4?
Hold on.
This guy hasn't had enough
Now we're
sleep today.
talking.
Hold on.
No. Not even with all those excuses.
it's got the action, it's got the, you know, moments where you have to suspend your disbelief, but like that's the magic of movies, right? Like it was fun, and I enjoyed watching it. And then the second score is sitting here discussing the movie critically. It's a 1. It's fun. It's so bad. Like, it's just not good.
Well, you're just saying 1, Mike. Is that right?
Yeah, listen, I understand where Dean's coming from. I love turn your brain off action movies as much as the next guy, but this one to me was so bad. I couldn't turn my brain off because it just angered me the longer it went on and the more shit that they threw at us. I couldn't get past. So if the 1's as low as it can go, then I guess we'll go with a 1.
Okay. Well, I mean, I had a feeling that that's where we were going with this, and fair enough.
What was your score? Did you give it?
Oh my, I know that it's stupid, but I'm still saying it's like a 4 because like I will watch this again.
It's
You're gonna watch it again. Why do you hate yourself?
But like, what do you like? I don't know how well you remember Die Another Day, like the Halle Berry, Pierce Brosnan, James Bond, but like you don't get these anymore.
Yeah,
Like
I was gonna say it's definitely like a product of its time.
no, it's just like, but it's just fun for the sake of fun. Like even John Wick is like so serious compared to stuff like this. Like it's just this is not a audience they're targeting anymore.
Yeah, like if they did this movie today, Vin Diesel would immediately get sidelined by the girl, and
I didn't say that, but I might have been thinking it.
Samuel L. Jackson would promote her instead of him, and he would just be a bumbling idiot getting in her way the whole movie. Like, I think you're right. Like, I mean, shit, even you just brought up John Wick. They're doing Ballerina now.
Well, he did
exactly.
Okay, to be fair, Dean, they did like what 5 John Wicks, and Keanu
4. Reeves
is 60 years old. So like, most movies don't get 4 sequels, but fair
This
enough.
one got 2.
On
So,
that
Mike,
subject,
you're objectively wrong. This movie was good enough to get sequels.
Pedro's giving it a 10 as a Vin Diesel stan. Well, that's blowing the scale out of the water. So, was it him who was talking about the steel book? Because
Yeah.
here we go,
Yeah.
boys. Look at this. This is a DVD double feature.
Wow.
The
Diamond plating.
size of that thing.
State of the Union and the original Extreme Director's Cut. Maybe there is an alternate cut because it says Extreme Edition.
This isn't a DVD case. This is a toolbox in the back of someone's truck, dude.
The roadside emergency kit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, because it would be 12 more years before the third film came out, so this is not factored into this physical media. But
I do want to say something really quick. Pedro brought up that I was like, oh, that's a good point. At the end of this movie, the credits roll, Adrenaline. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I used to fucking love this song. This is great. That
Still do.
that was cool. I
Yeah.
really, really like that. That was
yeah.
it immediately took me back to 2002 or whatever. I was like, oh my God. I think it was like a promo song for like a WWE thing back when in like middle school when I was like super into wrestling. So like,
Yeah. Well,
I was
wrestling was
just
so
like, oh.
fun at the time.
yeah,
It was,
fucking
it was
Attitude
amazing.
Era, dude. Hell yeah.
It's like you can't even if you verbally explained it to a modern wrestling fan, they'd think you were making it up. But
Dude,
luckily
there's this video going around on the internet where it's like the European mind can't comprehend the Hooters Indy 500. And it's, now
with the helicopters tailing the
and the fucking Apache helicopters and shit. And I was like, that's this era. That era. Fucking XXX, WWE, fucking explosions, morally gray, possibly trafficked women doing questionable things. Like, it's,
Possibly trafficked with.
I mean, like, realistically, that's exactly what that was. And Vin Diesel shouldn't have done that. Shame on him. Or XXX, not Vin Diesel. It was just
We're putting that on Vin Diesel.
We're digging a hole here, boys. We're digging a hole.
yeah,
So-
Yeah, this is
So aside from this sweet box set that you should get at your local thrift store, because I'm sure you'll be able to find it, we also have some die-cast cars here.
not in the movie at all. Well, the Corvette was.
Well, look at it says Senator Rick's Corvette on the
Senator
box.
Rick.
Isn't that
Okay,
amazing?
I have a question. I'm glad you brought this up, this photo, because it's the GTO. This car is clearly purple. In the movie, the car is like a brown, like a chocolate brown. It's really beautiful.
Is it really? I didn't notice that.
But then in the movie, when Sam Jackson is in the car with all the people trying to chase down the submarine, they're like, there's a blue GTO. I was like, what fucking color is this car? Am I crazy? Was it not brown? Did you have a picture of it?
Yeah, I thought it was like purple.
I know it was in the slides. I could have
I'll try and
sworn
find
it
it.
was like
Run it back.
I'll find
a
it.
mocha brown color.
Yeah,
Like a
well,
flake.
but it's also like toys especially didn't have to be accurate then.
Senator Rick.
Yeah, like I love how it says Senator Rick's Corvette like on the box,
Bro.
like as if that was a character that any kid would remember. Like
You think that actor owns that? Okay,
Is
that
that-
looks kind of. Maybe they
not a best
paint it-
photo.
Maybe they paint it in the second half of the movie.
Yeah, I don't.
Right
There
there.
it's brown. Yeah, that looks brown. Yeah.
That's
Or
They-
like
tell
a
with the lighting.
really
Yeah.
deep maroon purple.
Yeah. They may have painted it when they did the upgrade because they had time for that in the
They had
2 hours.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
They were
like, maybe
printing the
they
manual.
filmed it. Maybe they filmed this bit before they started filming the car stuff, and so the color changed.
Oh, think about how much Dean is thinking about this right now. That's amazing. But he's like, when could it have happened? Is it a production error? Okay, so here's a weird one. So you have your diecast cars, and I'll point out the top one says Series 2. So I don't know how many XXX diecast cars there are,
Wow.
but there might be more than this, which is just mind blowing. but it's the whole lot that he was going to purchase from Yorgi. They made.
I was gonna say, what other cars?
Yeah,
maybe the
I don't know.
Corvette
It
was
was a garage
Series
full.
1 and the GTO was Series 2.
a single item
Because
series.
it
So
doesn't say Series 2 on the Corvette.
I should have researched this next item more, but this is a lunchbox with
Wow.
thermos, and get this, produced by NECA. And I didn't check the year. I don't know if this is contemporaneous with the movie or what this. So this was just a gag thing they did much later. But
Oh, that's true. That was hot back in the day. You're not
yeah,
wrong.
Pedro's saying the car was purple, but it had a color shift paint. Oh my god, the source of all knowledge. Yeah, Jason's like, it's two-tone, guys. Get your vehicle knowledge straight. But yeah, so there's a NECA tin lunchbox of Vin Diesel, and it says big old sticker on there, metal drink container included inside ! As you know, like that's the game changer. You get a picture of shirtless Vin Diesel looking over his shoulder at the XXX logo.
Check out this fucking lunchbox. You thought that was fucking cool? Check out what's on
He's
the
like-
inside.
He's like, you thought Street Sharks were cool? Check this out.
Street Sharks.
You know what's crazy? And well, I guess NECA's not really. This one might be marketed towards a collector,
Yeah.
but I mean, metal lunchboxes got banned a long time ago because people in schools would like use them as weapons. So like when I was growing up, we didn't have. It was always the plastic ones, and the fucking tabs would break, and then you have to buy a new one. It was a whole fucking thing. So it's kind of weird to see that in 2002 or whenever this fucking came out. It's
Yeah.
like, it's
Well, if Vin
clearly not
Diesel-
for a kid.
If Vin Diesel had one, he would have used it as a weapon against Yelena in the diner there, the restaurant there. But it's just like it's about the same consistency as that pan. But I just want to point this out. I didn't check what year it was from, but
The thermos adds extra weight, bitch. Boom.
yeah, don't play yourself. Don't buy it on eBay and find out the thermos is not there. Make sure it has
Yeah,
the
make sure it's
thermos,
got the
Jason.
sticker that's accurate.
Well, no, might be open and missing the thermos, as is so often the case with these vintage lunch boxes. So here's the
Vintage. Oh God,
the
that
most epic
hurt.
thing. Here's the most epic thing I found on the internet related to things you can buy associated with XXX. The one and only jacket
Oh my
at the
God.
prop store auction. This is a few years ago. I think it was a 2015 auction, if I'm not mistaken. And the estimate is a measly $1,500 to $2,500. I feel like that's quite reasonable. You'd almost wear it around for comedic purposes at that price. It's like, it's very iconic, I think. I don't know, man. It's
It's a cool jacket.
I was trying to read it.
Unironically think pretty cool.
It's got beaver fur.
Who's Beaver?
Yeah. Would you
And I
like-
think there might have been
Hyenas?
there were some attachments for some stunts on there. They had a few other pictures.
Wow.
But yeah, that you got to log in and to see the winning bid, but the estimate was 1,500 to 2,500. So quite reasonable if you ask me. This is where you start to realize that Star Wars is really like nothing else on Earth. It's like every props from other movies are quite attainable if you're a lunatic who wants them, but you know, so prop store is a crazy site that they all have auctions going all the time with like some unbelievable stuff. But I thought that was a fun piece.
Yeah, that's cool. I like it.
Yeah, very very iconic. But yeah, that's I mean, I don't know, guys. That's pretty much it for XXX.
No.
Any you're not ready to say goodbye to the
I've
greatest
had a lot of fun
film.
shitting on
Yeah.
this movie.
Well, you know, it's not as it doesn't put you out like the holiday special. That's good to know. You know, we've made progress.
Yeah, that's
But,
what I kept Dean awake. That's all we're
Yeah,
asking for.
exactly. And he's very sleep deprived. But and we appreciate him for making the show. And because he was talking in the Patreon chat, like he was, I don't know what he's up to, doing crazy stuff. He's playing Call of Duty or something. I don't know what he's doing. Staying up late, listening to the Bible while playing Call of Duty. I don't know. He's
No, I was
hedonistic stuff.
drawing.
But anyways, we want to thank the Patreonies, without which we wouldn't have such an awesome audience to talk about XXX too. So we got Captain Fordo, Ian CB, Renee Mendez, Eric Mariscal, Quinn Aguirre, King Louis, Mark Pearson, Paul Schreiber, Equan, Chris Valencerina, Ben Thomas, David Jones, Sam Gist, Schwab Retta, Thomas Clark, Eric Schweitzer, Six Guns Figs, Badfish, Joe Corpus, Luke Skywalker, Dan Lee, Deanie Martin, Big Fern, Caesar American, Mark Phillips, Lisa Martin Bomonsky, Rick DeGregorio, Ricardo Valdez, Jose CZ, Alad Morgan, Tukathri Wah, Derek B, Arius Portillo, Alvin J, Mario Delgado, Aurelius Delgado, Toy Cartel, Sith Scale Collector, Jared Gagne, Alberto Cortez, Big Rib, Trevor Weed. Is that Darren Ilderton? I think. And
Yeah.
he's new, I think. And that's cool. Glad to have you, buddy. And Matt Clevenger, Don Maton, Stephen Percha, Sean Yotzi, Scott Bradley, Stephen Maria Stanley, Eddie Manzanares, Louis Bennett, Chip Perrin, Exodus, Abe Dunk TV, and Gigi the Judgmental. Thank you so much for being on a Patreon, guys. And if you're thinking about joining it, you can get the digital benefits with the hot seat for $5 a month, and that gives you access to a massive backlog of After Dark episodes that eventually get put private on the YouTube. So if you miss them live, you got to sign up to watch those, and they're regularly hilarious. And then above that, if you're a sweet angel or above, you get these sweet stickers sent out to you every other month. And right now, the Patreon benefit stickers are Jobs Not Finished with a little cartoon Zach and Dean there, and they're very graphic. I feel like I feel like I don't even want to be looking at this other sticker. It offends me more than almost anything in XXX. But the I'm a Nut sticker, there's just something very off-putting about this sticker visually, and I think you should use it to put on something of someone that you don't like. Use it as a vandalizing piece of equipment and bother someone with it, because I don't know if you want to rep that on your laptop. It's pretty extreme. It's not tasteful like a XXX keychain or anything like that. But yeah, we got our YouTube channel members who they get to when I'm not banning them, they get to have some fun emojis for paying the YouTube member upgrade, and that's Absolute Irwin, Alvin J, Amanda Dobbs, Andrew Gibo, Benjamin Hansen, Big Ol' Fern, Bob Dylan, CC3PO, Chris V, CT603, DJ Daminator, Doc Smizzle, Equan, Fat Batman, Gare Bear, Good Old Spotchka, Gotham Cenobites, Justin Sportscard, Jared Gagne, LV Avenger 702, Mark Pearson, Mike Litteris. Wow, that sounded pretty. That was the intended delivery that he wanted there. Money Mendez, OG Fan, OMFG Rick, 1/6 Figure Focus, Paul Schreiber, Philip the Fool, S Beam, Sam Gist, Scarn Lord, SpongeBob SquareBalls, Classy Thomas, who hopefully when he's feeling up to it, we'll have him back on the show, and Sunnyvale Russ, The Ben Thomas Show, Toy Mafia, Exodus, and Trevor Weed. Thanks so much for your support, guys. And the rest of the network, I think next Thursday you're going to have the second new episode of OFAC, so I'm excited for that. You'll be able to hear the British take on all your 1/6 scale news, and then the following Thursday we'll be back to small talk. So this might be this might be the last CW movie night for like 3 weeks, something like that. So there's a lot of pressure on that next pick. I don't know which one of you guys is going to get it, but it sounds like I'm doing the slides no matter which one of you guys gets the pick. So that's all good though. But yeah, and then you can catch the main show with Dean and Zach and the guys on every Tuesday night, and After Dark every Wednesday night. And Just Another Friday Night is very consistent too. And when I'm not banning him, he can post his link in the chat. Chuck, I'm real sorry about that. It was a slip of the mouse. I really didn't mean it.
I think Just Another Friday Night has a special guest lined up for tomorrow too. So definitely.
Oh, really? That's cool. I think we should do more. It was a blast having John Celestri on, and you guys, I saw you guys both get real engaged and talk to him and ask him some good questions, and in a way that XXX itself didn't quite elicit the same level of attention from you guys. So maybe we should have some more guests. I think we should try and get some more actual filmmakers on the show. I think that'd be a good call.
Yeah, that show was a blast. I had to talk to him all night.
Yeah, he's a funny guy. Yeah, I mean, yeah, and if you never checked out his site, like his self-published comics are pretty wild stuff. But yeah, so I think we talked about XXX about as long as the movie itself. That's the goal. I don't know, like I'm gonna promise you guys that I will for sure check out The Return of Xander Cage. I'm sure it's not as good as this, but that's the direction of Time's arrow. That's just the way it works.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of want to check it out too.
There's no by 2017, this much fun was already outlawed. It's just you just weren't allowed to have this much fun at that point in time. So I'm not expecting it to even come anywhere near. Maybe the Ice Cube one is pretty amusing, but I'm not gonna. That's not doing it for me. I don't expect that Tony Hawk is an Ice Cube's entourage. So for that reason, I'm gonna skip that one. But I love that Dean instantly recognized Tony Hawk and wasn't sure. And check out XXX if you haven't, because it's a music video. It's not a movie, and you'll probably be able to enjoy it in the background. And it doesn't matter that you just heard everything that happens in it, because it must be seen to be believed.
Yeah. The whole Tony Hawk thing. When I saw him, I was like, "Oh, that guy looks like Tony Hawk," but they didn't use him at all in any speaking roles. So I was like, that must not have been him.
Well, it's an Easter egg, Dean. It's like we're being Tony Hawk wanted the viewer to think that he's much cooler than he actually is, and when his spare time, he hangs out with criminals who do viral videos, basically.
And I'll just say, reading the chat, Trevor, who just kind of rolled in last minute and also thinks that this was pretty terrible. Yeah. Go back and watch this, because you'll have fun for the last, what have we been here, 2 hours?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had
And
more fun doing this than actually watching the movie, but
Absolutely.
I still had fun watching the movie. It's just,
yeah, yeah. It's that cop from the club. The son of a bitch is smoking. The things I'm gonna do for my country. Oh, like it's just
The
it.
Xander zone.
Yeah, there's so many great lines in this movie me and my friends said to each other for years out of
bro.
just dying laughing, and
Welcome to the
hopefully,
Xander Zone is so fucking cringy. Like that's the name of your thing, the Xander Zone.
dude, it's pre-YouTube, man. For the first couple of years of YouTube are cringe as hell. That's just the way it was. But yeah, like I mean, I feel like as much as Mike derides this movie, I feel like we could talk about this all night. But instead of doing that, we'll let everyone get back to civilization and their normal human lives. That XXX makes no sense within the context of. So as we see him flying off the Corvette there, and the most iconic of cinema.
Senator Rick's Corvette.
It says on the box. All right, everybody, have a good night. This was a blast, and we'll catch you sometime next month. See ya.
Bye.